This is it. Two tactical masterminds, two European heavyweights, one thrilling two-legged tie that promises drama, detail, and dazzling football. On one side, Simone Inzaghi's Inter Milan built like a fortress with a flair for the counter. On the other, Hansi Flick's Barcelona reborn through movement, youth, and relentless pressing. This is the clash of ideologies, the chessboard of modern football. Welcome to Flickball versus Inzaghiball. Who will outsmart who? So let's start with the men in charge. Simone Inzaghi has transformed Inter into a compact, lethal machine. His 3-5-2 isn't just a formation, it's a philosophy: defensive solidity, vertical progression, and swift transitions. Then, of course, we've got Hansi Flick, a master of positional play, pressing traps, and quick ball circulation. From his treble winning Bayern Munich to this new look Barcelona, Flick's ideology is grounded in fluidity and control. These aren't just teams, they're extensions of their managers' minds. So here's how both sides lined up in their last UCL games, and there's quite a lot that we can take away from these 11s. Inter fielded a classic Inzaghi setup, 3-5-2 as we know. Sommer in goal behind a back three of Pavard, Acerbi and Bastoni. Wingbacks Darmian and DiMarco provided width, while Barella, Calhanoglu and Mkhitaryan controlled the midfield. Up top, it was Lautaro Martinez, the captain and talisman, alongside the athletic Marcus Thuram. Of course, this game was an absolute epic game. It finished 2-2 with Inter Milan, of course, going through to the semi-finals, and it was definitely a very, very good game. I think Bayern Munich, of course, had to come into this game and, try and get that victory, obviously, after leaving the first leg without one. And I think Inter Milan, it was a bit of a difficult one, I would say, for them in terms of how do you come into a game like this. But to be honest, Simone Inzaghi, he just kind of took it within his stride and just played the game exactly how he would, as if this was the first leg. And I think that was enough, of course, for Inter Milan to make it through. Now, of course, off to the Barcelona versus Borussia Dortmund game. Absolutely thrilling game. And listen, Barcelona did ride their luck quite a lot in this match. But listen, they were able to get through 5-3 on aggregate. At the back, they did have Martin in ahead of Balde, who, of course, picked up an injury. Kubasi, Araujo, with Koundé in at right back. In the pivot positions, they had Gavi and De Jong, and then the usual front four, should I say, Rafinha, Lamine Yamal, Lewandowski, and Fermin Lopez, who's been putting in some really, really top performances as of late and has deserved his spot in the team. Of course, a lot of youth, pace, and positional fluidity for Barcelona. Compact structure. They did have experience and a transitional threat, but listen, it was a very, very, very tricky game for Barcelona. Now, Hansi Flick thrives on movement. Fullbacks invert, midfielders rotate, and wingers like Lamine Yamal isolate 1v1 to devastating effect. I think in this kind of tie, especially with Inter Milan being so solid in defensive structure, you're going to probably expect Barcelona to try to press high in a 4-1-4-1 without the ball, possibly trying to use Pedri to dictate the tempo of the game like he has done so superbly this season, and then allow players like Balde and Koundé to underlap while Lamine Yamal and Rafinha try and stay wide. Now, I think that's going to be dependent on the structure of Inter Milan, whether or not they're going to come out of their shape, which I'm not 100% confident that they will do. So they're going to need a lot of rotations. This system does demand constant awareness. It's not about sticking to the zones. It's about overwhelming opponents through overloads, pressing traps, and positional superiority. Now, let's just wait and see if Flick's going to be able to do that. Simone Inzaghi's Inter are a contrast in style, yet they can be equally as dangerous. They'll sit in a mid to low block, absorb pressure, then explode forward with 3 to 4 vertical passes. DeMarco becomes a creative outlet. On the left, Barella, Mkhitaryan make late surges. Lautaro drops into these half spaces to drag defenders out. The team thrives on rhythm shifts, luring teams in and punishing space in behind. Inter do not need 70% possession. They need 3 passes to hurt you. And I feel that with the high line that Flick may play and has been playing all season, that could potentially hurt Barcelona in these games, because it only takes a moment and it only takes 1 or 2 moments, passes in the game in order for Inter Milan to hurt you, and then they will just sit, as mentioned before, in that mid to low block. So here's where this tie could be decided. Let's check out the key battles for this 2-legged affair. So we've got the 2 Martinezes coming up against each other. Of course, that could be Araujo in defense instead, but personally I would actually go with Inigo Martinez. I feel that he'd be best served dealing with a player like Lautaro, especially a player who likes to go and drop into midfield. I feel that Martinez from Barcelona will be able to handle that a lot better than Araujo, who I feel at times can be quite rash. He will leave quite a lot of space, and of course if you do that, players like Marcus Thuram, he will be able to find pockets of them in behind the Barcelona defense, and it's already a defense that I feel at times, you know, does play a little bit too risky. I guess the upside of playing someone like Araujo would be the sheer fact of his pace, being able to get back and defend in those transitional moments. So you could go either or, but I'm going to go with the 2 Martinezes coming up against each other in this tie. Again, this will all be dependent on what kind of game plan that Hansi Flick, of course, has for this. Next up, we have got 2 of Europe's most exciting left-footed threats. One in DeMarco, likes to defend and he can deliver crosses. The other in Yamal, cuts in with flair. Whoever wins this wing battle wins control of the tempo of the game. I do think it's going to be a really, really good battle. And again, it's so interesting watching Inter Milan because they're so structured in what they need to do. You can see Simone Inzaghi on the sidelines kind of coaching his team where to go, what to do. And you can also see, you know, from Hansi Flick in terms of the freedom of expression he does give, especially to players like Yamal over there and Rafinha and players of that kind of ilk, you know, allow them to kind of express themselves, but also understand that we do also have a job to do defensively. I think this is going to be the most intriguing battle that we will see during this tie. Nico Barella versus Pedri. This one is really the battle of, this is the real battle of the tacticos, I'll be honest with you. 2 midfield maestros, 2 players, one who's very intelligent, one who's very aggressive, quite intense, but also has the quality in possession of play. Listen, I feel that when you watch this battle, this one will really, really test your knowledge in football. It will really show, are you really watching these games properly? Are you really dissecting these games, analyzing these games thoroughly? Or are you more concerned with, of course, the battles of a Yamal and a Lautaro Martinez, the guys who get the goals? This one is going to be the one where we're going to sit up and possibly take notice, because I do feel that as much as DeMarco versus Yamal will be an intriguing and probably the most intriguing battle, I do feel like this one will help to kind of control the tempo, and whoever wins out of these 2 will, I think, win the tie. So the first leg will be played at Barcelona's home ground. Flick's high press and youthful exuberance comes alive in front of a roaring crowd. Guys, expect, if they need goals, if they need chaos, it will happen at the home ground of Barcelona. And again, I think Barcelona will definitely be heading into a game like this and looking to steal a couple of goals against Inter Milan, because they know when they go to the San Siro, they are really going to suffer and sacrifice. So they're going to need to take a very commanding lead, just like they did against Borussia Dortmund in the last round. Otherwise, it could be problematic. And of course, the second leg will be played at the San Siro. This game, it will all depend on, of course, the home leg, you know, in terms of how Inter Milan decide to kind of set up. If they already have a lead, expect them to sit deep and then potentially just marshal and control the game, and it will then be for Barcelona, and the onus will be more on them to be able to exert some level of pressure, which inadvertently then might mean that they may leave space in behind. So it may be a catch-22. I actually think that Inter Milan will be happier that the second leg will be played at the San Siro instead. But again, we're just going to have to wait and see. Momentum will shift, nerves will potentially play a role. Substitutions could swing everything. Let's just wait and see. So, Flick's Fluidity or Inzaghi's Iron Wall? Will Barcelona's youth unlock Inter's defence, or will Inzaghi's tactical precision dismantle Flick's press? This isn't just a match, it's a tactical masterclass, a battle of brains, a two-legged thriller that could go either way. Guys, comment below with your predictions. Who do you think will advance to the final? And let me know your thoughts on the analysis if you guys enjoyed the breakdown. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. The tactical war is only just beginning.